And joining us now is our Chief Health Editor, Dr. Partha Nandi. Dr. Nandi, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Alan. How are you?
I'm good, doctor. Thank you. So the FDA saying Johnson & Johnson's single-dose vaccine now meets requirements for emergency use. Tell us what this means in getting it into the market and the fight against COVID-19.
So, Alan, this is great news and a critical step that really paves the way for approval. Now, the FDA's analysis does this. It says that there were no specific safety concerns and that side effects really mainly consisted of stuff like headaches, fatigue, and arm pain. The report is for the group of independent medical experts, right, that are scheduled to meet tomorrow, the Vaccine and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee. Now, they'll go through all this data and the Johnson & Johnson's clinical study is given, and just like they did for Pfizer and Moderna. And if the committee believes, which I think they will, that the evidence is strong enough, what they'll do is they'll give the FDA a thumbs up, right? And then it's up to the FDA to decide if they'll accept the recommendation and grant the emergency use authorization. And I think they'll make the decision very soon, possibly over the weekend.
You know, Doc, there have been different numbers with the efficacy rate for Johnson & Johnson. What did the FDA's analysis say about that? And I know it's a bit more complicated than Pfizer's and Moderna's since it varied from country to country.
It's a little confusing, right, Alan? So here we go. So the efficacy rate is variable, as you said. In the U.S., Johnson & Johnson's vaccine was found to be 72% effective. In Latin America, it was 66%. South Africa, it was 57%. But looking at how well it did globally, with 44,000 patients and participants that were actually studied, the FDA analysis found that Johnson & Johnson's vaccine was 66.1% effective at preventing moderate to severe COVID-19, which is pretty good. And that 28 days, right, after getting the shot. And when it came down to getting the most serious symptoms, the vaccine was found to be 85% effective, and that's important. And this was at preventing severe disease. And best news of all, 0 participants who got the shot died from COVID-19. So those last two pieces of information are critical in this.
Yeah, very important for sure. So, Doc, it's really hard not to compare Johnson & Johnson's vaccine to the two that have already been granted emergency use authorization. While it's not as high as Moderna and Pfizer's vaccine, Johnson & Johnson's vaccine does have some other advantages.
Yeah, first I'll tell you, Alan, that when Pfizer and Moderna gave their studies, remember we didn't have those variants. So Johnson & Johnson's vaccine efficacy was not 94% or 95% like Moderna's or Pfizer's, but those trials are completed, right? Like I said, before the variants. So it's possible the numbers from Pfizer and Moderna may be lower in today's situation. We don't know. Irrespective of that, the bottom line is that Johnson & Johnson's vaccine exceeded the FDA's criteria for vaccine efficacy or effectiveness. And it's been shown to be effective against severe disease, which what most people, and including my patients, really are worried about. And the other advantages, as you mentioned, number one, it's a single dose, right? Not 2 doses. People like that. Simpler processes for patients and providers. Number two, it doesn't have to be stored at some ultra cold temperature, makes it easier to transport and distribute. And again, if it's approved, it'll get millions more Americans vaccinated. Bottom line is, as I've been saying, broken record, it could help us get our lives back to some normalcy. To me, if you can, the bottom line again is that if you can get a vaccine, whether it's Johnson & Johnson, if it gets approved, Moderna and Pfizer, get the vaccine. This is how we're going to get ahead. This is how we're going to protect all of ourselves.
Absolutely, and it's just exciting that we have another vaccine out there on the horizon, almost available for all of us. All right, doctor, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And remember, folks, if you have a coronavirus question for the doctor, you can email him, Dr. Nandi at askdrnandi.com, or be sure to send it to us on Facebook or Twitter. Glenda?